What's up, guys? This is Bad Al with a video demonstration of the latest alternate add-on system using AnthonyBF2's version 8 PSP release. This latest add-on version is a little bit different than the previous one in that it gives you the ability to add strings to core.lvl. So that's kind of the main advancement. So let's get started by first extracting the ISO. Do Control N. Okay, So what I'll be doing here is I'll just be creating an extract folder to basically work with in SWBFII. Okay, and so I covered this in a previous video, and I think on the Discord channel if you hadn't been paying attention to the Discord channel for consoles. But SWBFII can run the game from directory to, let's just start it. Let's see here. Okay, clean that out. Now we'll go to this extract folder. We haven't added anything yet. I'll just show you that hey, it loads the game. And we go in here. Doesn't have any mods yet that I've added anyways. It's got the two eras here for Bespin. It's got the Clone Wars and it's got the Galactic Civil War. We'll just shut this down for now. I have this add-on here that I'll leave a link to in the description and on the Discord server. This is the add-on with the development stuff. Oops. So zip extract here. Okay. Biggest difference here is it's got a debug folder. So we'll take this add-on folder, cut. We'll paste this up in under the LVL PSP folder. Now in here, got a few more things than the vanilla release for the non-developers to run. We have this debug folder here, and up in here we have a debug.lvl file, and it's debug.lib. This is basically what is in the debug.lvl file. Let's take a look at what's in there. Okay, it's got some functions. Mostly what this does is, the most useful thing that does is that it redirects the print statement to print out to the credits. In this load folder right here, this is for PSP. These are load screens, and they have the number 1 through the number 20 on them. And this can be useful for debugging load screen hangs. So yeah, so here's a README in here on how to use that, and then over here we've got the code utilizes it. So the idea would be that you would in your Lua mission script, you copy and paste this in there, and then you basically call show debug screen like this. Show debug load screen 1, 2, 3, and what that's going to do is it's basically going to show you on the screen 1, 2, 3. I have this Fibonacci function defined in here. This is basically to pause, to slow things down so that you can see what's going on a little bit better. And it's not perfect, but I have certainly found it helpful in the past. But sometimes I have noticed it only gets me close to the line of code that is problematic. So that's something to keep in mind if you choose to use that for debugging load screen hangs. Okay, let's take a look at the README here in the add-on folder. Okay, so this goes and just basically tells you the basics for the add-on system, initial setup and adding a mod. Initial setup, let's take a look at what's in there. It's going to create a backup folder, and then it's going to copy mission, core, and shell to the backup folder, and then it'll this is basically the setup for the mod. It's going to copy the shell shell.lvl. This is a modified shell that has this extra bit of code here in it. So this is the process add-ons. This is the code that goes through the 001 through the 999. Actually, it goes through 000, but I'm going to say we should reserve 000 for sort of fundamental menus changes for the mod. And here's the code that executes the debug code. So there's the initial setup. There's this other batch file in here. Click to merge. This is something that the user runs when adding a mod. So right now there's just 002. If we wanted to drop in another mod and play it, then we'd drop it in, and then we'd run click to merge. But since we haven't run initial setup yet, let's do that. All right, so it copied these folders, or copied these files, and then created this backup folder here. And then we'll do a click to merge things together. And we get this pop up here, and then we have this informational batch script command prompt here. We're merging core, and then this is kind of going through. There's this new tool that I've included called LVLTool that does the merging of the strings. And then so we're merging core here, and then we're calling mission merge here. Let's rerun PPS SPP. And then once you verify that this is loading the mod, go through and show you a little bit more about the programs in the mod system. See these strings right here, the flame spitter, very explosive shell, very shocking shell. These are strings that have been added by LVLTool. Okay, so let's look at what's in the 002 folder. All right, so this and this. These are the Endor and the Hoth from the original PSP game. I included those because I was having trouble loading my sides at some point, and I think that there was like a out of memory issue, so I just added these because my sides worked on those. So those are sort of carried along for the ride. in this low Q, this is a low quality side, so the sides in here, these guys were basically munged with 64 by 64 textures, and the ones in here 128 by 128 textures. English.txt, since I don't have a core.lvl file in here, it would work with core also, but the LVL tool will also look for files that are like English.txt or Spanish.txt, or the files that are basically used by the local files that are used by the system. And in here I have these strings defined, and we can use them. We have them specified in this way, but we could also specify them with their hex values. So let's bring up, okay, so this is the rep. Let's take a look at this. Copy that. Okay, so we could use this right here. Use the hash of that string as well. Let's go ahead and let's run this again. Actually, let's verify. Let's rename that so that it doesn't pick it up. Let's merge it. Okay, let's run it. Since we renamed that file, it should not load the strings. Let's take a look. Yeah, and so those ones didn't get localized. Okay. Okay, now let's go back in here and rename it to valid. Merge it again. Run it. Okay, and they did get localized properly this time. There's the flame spitter, and I wanted to show that for the flame spitter, we did use the hash instead of the string string ID like that. So if you don't know the key, you can still use the hash. Okay, let me show you a little bit more about LVL tool. Let's go into the bin directory. LVL tool isn't really ready for release, but it does do the merge core, so it can be useful. Well, it is useful. I've added in some more files here because LVL tool, in some of its operational modes, does use them. Mission merge it doesn't use, but that's used by the batch file click to merge. LVL tool does use dictionary.txt, and this is basically the same kind of dictionary that the new version of SWBF unmunge uses. So if we take a look at that, we'll see a bunch of things in there, and you can add to this to have the program resolve those things. Let's take a look at what we can do. Base.core. Let's look at that. So one thing it will do right when it loads an LVL, when it's used from GUI mode, it will run through all of the different types of things that are in the LVL, and it'll give you a rundown of the total size. In this case, the total size of the fonts included is 87.64 kilobytes. Total size of the local files included in this is like 2.074 meg, and so on and so forth. And so looking at a core, we can select a local file, and then you can see all of the strings in there. There's some other options in here that I do not, that kind of need further testing before I can say, yeah, these are, they're kind of experimental right now. But you can at least, you can view all of the strings, and if it can resolve them with their keys from the dictionary, it will. Otherwise, they'll show up as a 0x number. Oh yeah, like this one right here. Okay, so and if we take a look at let's say a world LVL file. It's useful to know, like, okay, so what are the size of what's the total size of the textures in that file, right? What are the different sizes of the different types? So that can be kind of nice to look at. There's another useful feature that I wanted to cover. Let's take a look at Addon. Okay, before we change anything, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at the debug log in the credits. Since we have the debug.lvl in there, it'll run it. Okay, so there's that, and well, let's run that again. Debug log. Okay. Process add-ons start. Let's make a change. Okay. In shell interface, the one that I've included. Okay, process add-ons start. Before that, I'm going to put hi Anthony right before we print out process add-ons. So, normally when we munge an LVL, there's like a special munger, but with this tool, I've made it so you can just replace a script. So let's take this shell right here. All right, and so this is showing, since this right here this one can choose the where the mod tools is, and it can locate the source code for this shell interface file. We can also do a listing of it right here, and that'll take the LUAC program and create a LUAC listing. This one right here, and it'll put it in this temp folder, and then it'll display here. Anyways, okay, let's get back to some cool stuff. All right, so let's replace this shell with the shell we just modified. Okay. Make sure we are at the right location. We are, okay. So we're just, this is the one that we just modified. I put hi Anthony in there. So let's take that. All right, and if we look at the up here, it'll say mungine shell interface.lvl. You have to have the I think the mod tools directory set up correctly for that. Yeah. Okay. Now let's do a save. And we'll save it to this directory right here. This is the one that'll get run. All right. Let's try again. There it is. Hi, Anthony, right there. Okay. Yeah, so that's how you can target one script to replace one script inside an LVL file. That's not perfect. If we were to look at a mission file, a lot of this mission scripts show up as LVLs. So it's only going to work if it's recognized as a SCR underscore file. So I don't know. Hopefully we won't need to do this with the mission. Hopefully not. I don't really see. I mean, I suppose it could if that's your usage case. Anyways, okay. In addition to the LUAC, I've got this one. This one is the decompiler. It's not a good decompiler, but it kind of works for the. Oh yes, well let's try it on this one right here. It doesn't work on that one. Okay. So it doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. And this one right here, this is Lua DC1. This is Phantom's decompiler for Battlefront 1. It's modified a little bit by me so that I can specify some stuff on the command line interface of it. Changes that I've made to it are at this location. This is just where you can get source code for the various programs included in here. Okay, so the LVL tool was a tool that I wanted to sort of just to replace a few things here and there. It can be useful for replacing. Let's see, what can it replace? There's somewhere in here where like it can do textures, it can do scripts, it can replace textures and scripts rather. Oh yeah, so if we take a look at, if we wanted to create a, if we wanted to create an LVL file, I have this little, don't use this, this is not final. If we wanted to create an LVL file with just like one thing in it, we can use this. It'll name it by default the very first thing you add, and we'll just do go create. And there it created a shell interface.lvl, and it should have just one file in it. Yeah. Okay. Let me do that again. Let me show you something here. Let's go to create again. It has this temporary workspace that if you want to, you can keep. Let's rename it. If we rename it, it won't delete it. So when this message is displaying, this will exist, and you can rename it to keep it. So in there, it's just sort of a convenience. It'll create the rec for you. It'll create, this batch file. It doesn't run this batch file, but it will. I'll just drag that into here. See what's in there. Got to have your mod tools directory set up correctly for that. But anyways, it's meant to be a little time saver, and we can add more stuff to the LVL2. We can add. Let's see. Does it say? Oh yeah, we can do config mcfg tga texture lua script and LVL files. Anyways, that's just I don't know how many will find that useful, but oh yeah, we can also. This is important for textures. To specify the right argument for textures. Okay, so I guess that's basically what I wanted to cover on the LVL tool. Okay. For development, this is going to be, I hope, useful. I'll leave a link to the download for those who want it, and I'll end the video here. All right, thanks.